still, white bottom, very sweet as it. Raisiny. You got the dust.
I went IPA and went zombie dust. Yeah. I had to do it. Let's look at this. So they have the Oktoberfest logos. So these must be special, right? Because that's the Oktoberfest.
Oh, the Oktoberfest. I guess so. Yeah, for the little symbol there. And coming in these, the 16 ounce comes in this little pitcher thing here. Just an interesting take. So I guess I don't have to warm up the whole beer with my hand.
My only problem is that I'm already done with one, and I feel like they'd be like 3 minutes in.
It's just making you drawing attention how quickly you're drinking.
Yeah. But after the third pour, I don't think I would even probably realize after the third.
Yeah, right. Have you had a beer here before?
I have, actually. Yeah. My buddy, when he was at Five Rabbit, he used to do events over there.
Oh, cool.
And so I would come in, I would meet him on the weekends, and we would come back here. But that was pre the basement. I didn't realize they have some of the drafts, or the serve your own, which... Is it different? Did you notice that they were different from what's...
Yeah, they're different. There's, I think there's a wine down there, a couple wines maybe, and then some other beers. So it's called Tap Yours, and it's a, yeah, you get a prepaid card, so many ounces, and then you can pull your own down there, and they have a little like bar area, or like the kind of long table you can hang out at, and then there's the cooler with some larger format cases and mix and match. So yeah, I didn't know that was there. I've been here once just because I happened to be here after a Cubs game in this area, and saw it was there, and I was like, oh, check that out, and of course wound up buying a bunch of beer and just to get some fun selection. They have a loyalty program here, which there's the app, but there's also these little tokens, like little like gambling chips.
Oh.
And
or AA chips.
Yeah. So well, I mean, like it's kind of a fun thing because you collect the chips and you can turn them in for beer at the tasting room here. The only limitation from my point of view is like I have to make sure I don't lose the tokens.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's the problem with because see I did that with a place in Berwyn, and I keep like throwing it around because it's like, or it keeps ending up everywhere. My son gets it and throws it behind the couch, you know, because you don't know where to. You need it at a convenient spot when you go into a random place.
We do have like a little shelf above our key hooks where it's mostly my shelf of like random stuff. I don't know who do it, so that's where my token is. Yeah.
They're doing a good job with the social media. This will be playing over me looking at my phone, but they're even incorporating just like handheld videos, but it looks like someone's doing it with like one of those apps where they're combining like 5 photos to do some like fades. They're doing a good job of like really everything. Like, you know, it is mostly, I mean, they're showing the beers, but it's like there's a lot of people. I mean, they're at like 3,100 followers, which is like huge.
Mm-hmm. We're doing like this events going on. They're preparing a poster right now for it's like an Odell Brewing pop-up something. Yeah. Which also involves, I'm seeing on a slideshow, involves an advent calendar, which feels a little early. We were talking about how, with the Old Irving Brewing, we were talking about how early Oktoberfest beers come out.
Right.
And here we got a advent calendar already out. $75, it's not that bad for a beer advent calendar.
For a case. Yeah.
Basically, right.
24, you said $75, so that's like...
That's the sale price, I think. At least during the promotion.
The pitch, yeah. How long have they, it's only been, is it 5 years? 4 years? How long have they, do you know?
No, I don't. Like I said, I didn't even know this place was here. It's, until I stumbled on it, but it looks very new.
Very
modern,
rustic and modern.
Yeah, the sort of new rustic look of reclaimed wood and the bar tap handles are all like old piping and things, or at least look like just like cobbled together piping, and you got like the Edison bulbs hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, it's like rustic modern, which is very inviting. I think it's very, I wonder, it was very inspired by CME, the Chicago Music Exchange down the street. I walked by, they had the plumbing things. So I think that'd be
interesting, yeah.
I wonder.
So, like a Lakeview style,
maybe
decorating style.
Now I'm wondering if they have a hand in it. If Chicago Music Exchange actually has a hand, if that guy owns part of this. I saw him talk once, and he seemed like a pretty cool dude.
We'll have to get somebody.
If I
try some, yeah.
What were you going to say?
I guess that's convenient with this format.
If you should.
Oh, I mean, I might as well try to get some of them on sometime.
This?
Yeah, let's do some. I'd say no.
Oh wait, I gotta have you pour so I can film. That's right. So what is this?
Good. Celebrator Doppelbock, Mayanger. It's like the Doppelbock.
That's really good.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, you'll see it's got the little goat pendant in on the bottle. And yeah, it's one of those, like, I forget sometimes how much I like it.
That's really, I really just switched. And I don't know if I say this in real life or just, but I feel like I switched from, like, I love these Belgians, but then I forget and I never, it's just, I'm always wanting.
Right, well, it's like a sugary treat, and like where you're looking, if you're at a restaurant, you're looking at the menu, and you're like, burger sounds so good right now, but like also like it looks like they have a really cool like lobster dish or like a salmon or something. You're like, that probably is actually very good,
right?
But it doesn't have like the curb appeal of the burger, right? And anything hoppy has that curb appeal, I think. So we're just like, yeah, I know that's gonna be good. Like,
right.
That'll like
that's
scratch
true.
an itch all the time. Some of these other ones that are a little like a Doppelbock, it's a little cooler today. It's a little easier to like imagine drinking something a little sweeter and heavier. It's not like that high ABV. It's not that much more than the Zombie Dust is, but it's definitely like sweeter.
Yeah.
So there was, the first 5-10 years I was really into craft. I didn't really care that much about seasonality, but like certainly as I've gotten older, somehow like it does make sense to me. Like when it's warm, I do start to trend away from the heavier things.
Right. I don't know. I feel like that's seasonality. I think because when you first get involved with it, you're like just excited. At least for me. So that's why you're just like, oh, I can try this now. I can try this now, and then once you know it'll be around next year, then I also think then you can chill out and be like, all right, fine. I'll wait till the season.
Yeah, like it's I can deal with that later. Yeah, it's like the tasting room spaces here is really like pretty cozy. I wouldn't know it was a tasting room from the outside because the first thing you see is the bottle shop. The tasting room is a little bigger than you can tell. Looking at it from, let's see what we can do from carefully bringing it around here.
Well, that's also
so you can kind of see the tasting room. There's first a row of bottles, and then it comes into the tasting room. But the tasting room is wider than the actual bottle shop.
It's like the old school, whatever you call them, that I can't think of the name of. The saloon or the speakeasies.
Oh, sort of, yeah. You have to kind of like nose there and go head back there. But I'm sure it has something to do with fitting into the space. But this format, I like the format though, where it's like a place you can have a tasting room, but also bring something home.
That's, Miskas.
Miskas?
Have you seen? now that I've said that, you'll notice them because they're kind of like this, at least from what I remember, is that they do the just a liquor store, and then they have just the bar with a, you know, it's kind of like a shot in a beer place.
Yeah.
But they're like a chain of like old school style liquor stores, and I think that's, I don't know, it is the next evolution for like a liquor store, I think, to be relevant. And
right, yeah, we were just thinking about Andersonville liquor and like and those kinds of liquor stores where you get a lot of the local traffic. You're mostly going to be a local audience when you get there. You're not going to get people traveling very far unless you're really getting special stuff.
Yeah.
But you also have to let people know you're getting that special stuff.
Otherwise, yeah, they won't.
But it's not just that corner liquor store that's like advertising every week their new special on cases of Coors or cases of Miller, and they have lots of interesting beers to choose from. I didn't actually even see the cases of Coors and Miller.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if they even do that. They're more into like wines and spirits, and then craft beer. I think they must have had some in the cooler.
You have to. Yeah. There's no way.
I think we just don't notice it.
Yeah. We just
our attention's already on other things.
Although we should look here to see if they actually have it.
Right.
Because that'd be interesting.
That is an interesting question. Yeah. Like how wide is your?
I almost think they don't have it. I thought I remember seeing something where they like didn't do it.
It's about audience, right? So
right.
That corner liquor store, it's going to probably do a fair amount of business in your lower end wines and beers. So sure, you're going to carry it, but how do you position yourself as somebody who's is a place to go to get something really interesting, and a place like this, I think, is able to do that because they have the atmosphere, they have the tasting room. They do have one cocktail on draft. It looks like they have like a limited bar, maybe. There's a place that does sell some spirits. That's something that'd be interesting. There's probably some licensing things they have to deal with. But if they're serving a cocktail already, you might be able to do it.
I'm just seeing like this Odell Brewing pop up. Like, I mean, I think it's almost like all the other business, like intentional decisions, is that you just literally plan for them all. And I think they just sort of allow the space to like have a 5-day pop-up brewery, and you just sort of, and that's all the stuff that it builds. And so
yeah, and they've it's extensive. I mean, it's I don't know if we can get it on.
Yeah, no.
But as we were coming in, they were just doing this over top of the bar. They were putting up. You can't see from here; it's all washed out on the. But over the bar is an Odell Brewing sign. It's lit up, and then a bunch of clear growlers with Odell logos filled with grain.
Oh, because that is the 26th is like in 2 days.
So I think they're getting ready to become basically an Odell Brewing pub, or our tasting room.
That's actually really cool. That's an interesting way to tour as a brewery.
Yeah, well, I wonder who like started that conversation, right? Like if that was an Odell, like hey, could we just take? It's like a takeover, but they're calling it a pop-up.
Right.
Maybe that's just the difference, but
it's just a marketing.
But they're also like literally like they got the signage and they're.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of.
There's like there's other signs around here, so they are really kind of taking over. It's more than just
a tap table.
It's not more than just the taps. Yeah.
It is a.
It's so cute.
All immersive takeover.
Yeah.
Refacing, which is cool. I will say one of my favorite things are the signs. I do love the hand-drawn as an illustrator. I'm a fan that they do the hand-drawn.
Yeah, like the drumroll APA sign we're looking at.
But no, I meant what she's doing.
Oh, so so we're looking at
which
one of the staffers is actually has a projector set up, or she had one. She projected an image of the poster. Now she stenciled it by hand onto some butcher paper on a wall. And now she's coloring it in. And she probably has spent the better part of the afternoon doing it.
Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah.
But that's when you build that in, when you build like a 500 foot roll of butcher paper, like when you mount that to the wall, it's just like, no, this is our decision. Like we're doing handwritten signs, calendars, which is also like why there's a table there for tastings and, you know, brewery pop-ups. But this is proof of concept for a lot of our theories, I think, for what we've sort of been talking about, of like ways to really be more of a destination liquor store instead of just being a liquor store. Like just the front, so the next evolution from just the front is opening up the back.
Yep.
Or maybe the next evolution is like having the pop-up events where someone stands there for 4 hours. And then the next step is this. You have a bar. And then the next step is you have takeovers. And then, so it's kind of what it comes down to. It's really like your energy and willingness, like how far do you want to go outside of the norm to like stand out? Because you were saying something earlier that about you're saying people don't typically come to bars for a certain thing, which now isn't as true, but I do, because I used to, like, back in the day, I would go to the special liquor stores for whoever got the special release. So I think it's probably not as much, as we said in the Andersonville video, that your Evanston place where they don't sell a lot of the special releases anymore, but it's still another story if you were the one that keeps getting all the special things. Then you just underbuy.
Right. So I think there's two issues there, it seems to me, where it's both in terms of those special release beers, if you're a bottle shop or a liquor store. On the one hand, it's a matter of probably to some extent the market, the niche segment of people who are willing to spend, $15 to $50 on a bottle of beer every couple of months when another brewery has a new one coming out. Like maybe that's shrinking, and maybe in some ways that even might be a little paradoxical. In as much as craft beer should be, the audience for it should be growing. But okay, so maybe that's shrinking a little bit. But if you're carrying it and you want to sell it, also then think like, what can you do to like tell people that you have it and get people excited about it, and that's about like cultivating the right audience. I think.
That's like
maybe some education. So this particular place has a huge college market.
Your place, yeah.
The place I'm thinking of, and so those college kids are the ones coming in. They're just getting cases, of course.
Right, they're not going to spend.
Heineken, maybe. Okay, but like to me, it's like the store is like a little hidden gem in Evanston because they do have those limited releases. They carry all that stuff. You can find a lot of interesting things. It's not, you can't find everything because they don't have the shelf space, but you can find something interesting if you go in there.
But you don't need to.
So so then like you go like, okay, that's who you are right now. Like how do you tell people, how do you build the audience so that people know that that's who you are? Because from the outside I didn't know that.
Right.
And in a place like this, from the outside, I can like when I first saw it, I could see by just the iconography, the signage, from the storefront. Like it said to me, this is going to be a craft beer place.
They're playing to you, yeah.
And it wasn't because they had like a poster up that said Founders or whatever. It was because there's like plenty of like just sort of corner, big volume kinds of places have those posters. It was more about the logo and
the rustic touch almost.
Yeah, as soon as you walk in.
The sign out there is wood, I believe. I think it's the wood and then.
Yeah, I think so. And it's, well, yeah, and like just, yeah, the whole branding is about an experience. It's not just like, hey, there's liquor here.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's an experience.
So,
it's not
so
just
you know that kind of, you know that old school liquor store where it's like the sign, everything about them says, hey, there's booze here. That's all they want to communicate. There's booze here, right? That's, I mean, that will work. That will work for some people, but like, there's so many places to get booze now, like that. If you really want to stand out, you got to kind of go. Here, we're doing something interesting. We're curating our selection, and you got to communicate like what you're doing and what you're about.
The communication.
We got to do equipment.
So the communication. So that's where I think you could also. They're building it in, like they're building in, you know, like they have games and books. So that's also built into like their. I mean, it's very empty. It's not like the games are like a clutter. It's like a really nice.
Oh, it's, you mean like it's very spare?
Yeah.
Or like,
but they're also building
orderly and clean, but it's
building in the relaxed.
Yeah.
Like intentional relaxation. You know, like just building that in.
Like that. Okay. Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting thing.
Yeah. So, excuse me. I don't want to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm curious. Would you be willing to like talk to us for 5 minutes on camera? Maybe Caroline will do it. Caroline's looking like, all right.
All raspy. I'm under the weather, and starting to feel like I want to do this. Caroline is in a front.
I called an audible there, so thank you for being willing to hop in.
Yeah,
Actually,
no problem.
that's technically our main camera.
Okay.
Don't worry too much about that. Let's try to have a short conversation.
Okay.
So we're 2 beers in a podcast is our
Cute.
pitch.
All right, I like it.
And we do that as our intentional hourglass.
Okay.
So we, you know, like 2 beers are done. It's like,
Hopefully
okay, just
limits
stop.
us from
So
babbling
From
too
like
long.
rambling or
Right.
getting off track
right.
or.
It's a beer marketing podcast though, so we're interested in how people tell stories about beer, how people present beer to their customers.
Okay.
All right, so my name is Brad. This is Mike.
Nice to meet you guys. I'm Caroline.
Caroline, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And so tell us about your position here.
So I'm the assistant manager of the shop here, which kind of entails a lot of different things.
Okay.
We have a retail portion of the shop, you know, which you can buy 4-packs and 6-packs to go. There's a bomber selection. We have wine, spirits. So just kind of like a day-to-day type of thing for that portion of the shop would be, you know, the guest experience. You know, helping them pick out a beer.
Like questions.
Questions.
What is this? Or like.
Yeah, I would say a little bit of both. Like some people come into the shop and they're just like overwhelmed with the selection.
Right.
So it's like that's where you start asking the kinds of questions like, okay, you know, what styles of beer do you like to drink? Or they're like, you know, I had something that I really liked, and they'll describe it, and then.
And you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was here, I don't remember if it was you or somebody else. The first time I came here, I stumbled in after a Cubs game.
Yeah.
And,
Sounds about right.
Somebody was asking about an IPA that came in a green can or had a green label, and so and I like overheard it, and so somebody was trying to help this person find it, and she was trying to describe it. Like, yeah, it was like kind of smooth and like I'm looking, I'm like, let me see if I can help them, if I can solve this problem. And she was, you know, your staffer was like trying her best. She was finding all the green label IPAs.
Yeah.
And then like none of them were the right ones. And then I was like, highlight, it's gotta be a highlight.
That, honestly, when you said that just now, that was the first one that came to my mind.
And then she was like, no, it's a highlight. And I was like, oh, all right. But yeah, that was just kind of one of those funny moments of what you're describing of like, I had this thing, and yeah, that was interesting to see somebody try to help a customer figure that out. When
Yeah, it's like it's a game almost, you
Right.
know. You have a lot of fun with it. So, so that's kind of like the retail portion of the shop, and then back here is our tasting room. We've got 8 beers on draft at all times. All of our kegs are 6-stills, so 5.5 gallon kegs.
Probably my favorite.
Taps
Again, very similar to the
So that
The potato is more of a light, roasty lager with a subtle sweetness
kind of like why we don't call
as
ourselves a bar.
opposed to another.
Hence, what you guys saw, we serve our beers 16-ounce pints in little mini pitchers. So
Thanks for letting us. Us too. I think we have a new semi-permanent guest that we'll have to try and hit up. Since she's pitching her own stuff.
Without sharing your
Yeah.
So Caroline, do you brew then, or are you just
I'm just
like squeamish.
They're like, I'm gonna get 2 pints, but like 5 glasses.
Right.
Because like everybody wants to try it, you know. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
it's a fun way to try new things.
That's
for
a
sure.
cool concept. I'm pretty sure I've not seen that anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's a fun concept. And so I mean, I've seen the pitcher model, but you're basically saying like, well, let's
Just
bring
smaller.
the pitcher down, scale it down a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Does the CME, is this at all in associated with the CME?
We are not.
Is that owner? No. Because I noticed the style. As I walked by just now, I was like, they have the, so I don't know if it was the architect, the same guy, the interior designer that did a lot of the plumbing stuff.
No. That was kind of all done by our general manager, Megan. And people joke all the time because they'll go to the Chicago Music Exchange. They're from out of town. They're like, oh, so I just went to like.
Went to your music store.
Went to the music store. I went to the guitar museum, and now I came to the beer museum. And it's just, it's just kind of funny how that worked out. So totally random, uncoincidental.
Okay. Cool. That's fine. So and then tell us about. First off, you have a loyalty program basically with the tokens.
So we have a loyalty program. We give out these little Bitter Pops poker chips. Every $25 you spend in the retail portion of the shop, you can come back, bring into the tasting room, and redeem them for different size beers. So like 2 would get you a little 5-ounce, 4 would get you a pint, so on and so forth.
And do you ever have? So here's the only like I thought it was fun when I got my token. So when the first time I came here, and the only thing I was worried about was like losing it. Like, does anybody ever like complain about losing their tokens, or does it seem like okay? It's like no, this is important enough that I'll keep track.
I would say more so people are bummed that they forget them when they come in.
Oh, they forget them. Yes. Okay.
So we are transitioning over to a mobile app.
I saw that. Yeah.
So the poker chips, they will never expire. People will always be able to turn them in back in the tasting room area, but we're going to just kind of minimize people forgetting their chips by having them all on the phone. So
yeah.
Those are so fun though. That's
they
like
are
a fun
fun.
little
Yeah, well, I mean that was kind of what was cool about it. Like there is something cool still about having something physical.
Yeah, something sustainable.
I don't want like an extra card in my wallet, but like having like the physical chip was like a fun thing though.
Right.
So so you're moving into the app. Okay.
Your
can see that.
online presence is great.
Thank you.
You're not just posting pictures of your cans, you're like actually encouraging events and like social things instead of just metal.
And that's kind of like what Bitter Pops is all about. It's about the experience and telling a story. So what we're trying to do on our social media pages is not just, this is what we have new this week. It's more about telling a story. You see a group of people here for a party and it makes you want to kind of find out like, well, that looks really fun. Like, what's the story behind that? So it's like, could be anything, you know, somebody could be having a wedding rehearsal party or celebrating an engagement or, you know, any number of things. So
But sort of sharing that's what you're encouraging
Yes.
also encourages more of it.
Exactly.
Instead of just like, you're not suppressing the fact that people are partying here. You're like, no, rent this out, have fun here.
Exactly.
Like that's what you want. Yeah. That's interesting. Because that's what we're, as far as separating, which I guess is the benefit of having this. From
Right.
being just kind of the liquor store. It's really trying to be a lot of this, but I don't know where I'm trying to go with that. But do you see what I'm saying? Like instead of playing, like you're really trying to focus on some of the events instead of just get a beer,
Exactly.
get out of here.
Yeah, it's way more than that. You know, we do fun events all the time, so.
Was that, so that's almost, and actually the question was kind of answered as the other guy that suggested she go to the chamber meeting. So that's all like community. So you guys are just all
Yeah.
centric.
We all help each other out.
See? The way it is. That's how it works.
Well, we talk about that a lot on the show, but it's like,
Which is local.
it's just one of those things that even though everything feels like it's almost like national all the time because it's all online, anybody can see it, like small business owners know it's actually still very, very local. You still need to drill down. Right. And work with the people nearest you and your neighbors and be a good neighbor as a business.
Yeah, helping each other out.
What are, do you have other examples of that you worked on?
I mean, we have like these Lakeview Chamber meetings where all the local businesses in Lakeview will kind of talk about things like, you know, how their business is performing, safety, all that. Megan knows a little bit more about that than I personally do because I don't really attend those meetings, but even like when it comes to the beer, you know, we're accommodating. Like people are always coming up to us and we're trying to get things that they're looking for if we're able to. Do you guys have this beer? I tried it, it's awesome, and then we always do our best to try to get it for them.
Okay.
Responsive.
Yeah. Right.
Well, even just saying that you guys only use 5.5 gallon kegs is like, you just want to cycle. That's like your goal, is just trying new stuff anyway, so.
There's always something new to try, and I think that's what's so fun about the concept of the tasting room.
Right. That's what's good.
What do you feel like has been one of the most successful campaigns, let's say, from like a marketing point of view, in terms of an event or a launch or whatever?
Even from loyalty card to literally
yeah,
event.
whatever it is.
Yeah, actually this week is a really good example. We're doing a pop-up event with Odell. So it's going to be a tap takeover. I don't know if you guys have shown like the shop, but we've already started putting up some of their swag. And their displays around here, so it's supporting them and them supporting us. And each day of the week, this week we have a different event going on. So like Wednesday's gonna be like Meet the Brewer, and then we're gonna do like swag giveaways and stuff. So it's supporting the community, the brewery, and them supporting us. So it's gonna be really fun.
I was curious, did they reach out to you about that, or did you start that conversation?
Well, we've done a couple of pop-up events. This is going to be our third one. The first two were with Two Brothers Brewing Company out in the western suburbs. And then we did one with Goose Island. So suburban, local, and then this is going to be our first non-local. So, but other breweries have kind of picked up on it. And they're like, okay, we want to do one now.
Interesting.
So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's a cool concept because it's, I mean, I was noticing when you were putting those up, I hadn't noticed the pop-up thing yet. I saw that you were putting up the Odell growlers and you had the sign up, and I was like, that's like very specific for a tasting room. But what basically you're saying is like, you're not, I mean, obviously you're not like erasing your own brand because you have your signage, your own things going on here. But you're just, you're showcasing, you're able to highlight somebody and show them off. We get some outside perspective, but yeah, it's because you still have the bottle shop, like it's still you, but you kind of in an interesting way allow Odell to kind of inhabit your space, which like an actual brewery or even to some extent an actual bar couldn't do. But since you guys have the retail, you have an advantage, I think. So that's, it's a cool concept.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So Odell's just going to be taking over Bitter Pops essentially this week.
It's wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're really excited about it.
That I could definitely see that happening, spreading like wildfire to a lot of other liquor stores or tasting areas.
Who had tasting rooms, right?
That's genius.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So the other question we like to ask people is, what are the challenges you have when it comes to thinking about how to tell your story and connect? Like, where do you like run into like these sort of like, I'm not sure if we're doing this right or how we can do this better?
That's a tough question.
Because you guys are doing a lot of stuff really well, so that's why I wonder.
But where is it? Yeah, what are the things where you're like?
I would say like from a marketing standpoint, not trying to overwhelm the customer.
Okay.
Like from our end, we know we launched a pour your own tap system, a rewards program, and wine and coffee all at once.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Right.
But like,
Fair enough. That's a lot.
when we're trying to message that out, it was kind of being like, okay, what do we think is the most important focus right now? What do we think is going to be most beneficial? Like, okay, middle of summer, maybe we want to, you know, in July, we're like, okay, July, we want to focus on cold brew coffee.
Right.
Because people are out and about doing errands on the weekends, and then they're just going to get a coffee, and then we got those little to-go cans, which kind of...
Oh, that's the coffee in the cans? Like I was
so
wondering.
if you, yeah, I'll take one down and show you guys, but if you order a to-go coffee, it comes in a Bitter Pops branded can.
That's great. Wow.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is when you're trying to do so many things at once, just really kind of figuring out what you want to focus on.
Thanks. Oh, here we got a can. Yeah, bring it over. Bring it live.
No lids, no straws.
No, there's no straws, right.
That in itself is a good branding. It's just a unique branding.
Oh yeah.
Because everyone does coffee in the paper cup.
So, you know, we're definitely like to be unique and stand out in that way.
When you have the like total, like the full top, pull off, if you can.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's open. Yeah.
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 So as you if you're doing so you did like 4 or 5 things. What is the most important? Is kind of just prioritizing, I guess.
Important to prioritize and not do too many things at once.
All right, we'll be back. And then that can be pivoted as you see either what's more profitable or interesting. I know.
Exactly.
So then, people who want to coffee. Okay, big
impressive.
coffee push. Let's sell the coffee. Let's like sell the story.
We just want to continue from the recording that's here.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if we're doing it for this pop-up, but for last couple months ago when we had the Goose Island pop-up, that's kind of when we launched the pour your own beer system downstairs, because Goose Island has a lot of those like really rare, like hard to find beers, and they also have a large beer portfolio. So we're like, okay, maybe we can start selling these pour your own beer cards, so that way people will have lots of different options to choose from.
Yeah. So with that system, so it's like downstairs. So you have to kind of know it's like, and it's actually up on the screen too.
Right.
So then you just kind of have people popping up and down basically, and yeah.
Especially if we're full on a Friday or Saturday night, people are like, oh, it's crowded. They're like nervous to come back and get a beer. It's like, you can buy a prepaid card from us and drink your beer downstairs if you want to.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. And how old is this place? We were trying to.
We opened in
guess.
April of 2016.
It's 16. Okay. So it's just a couple of years.
Interesting. My baby. That's when I had my little baby boy.
Yeah.
April of 16. So that's 2.5.
Yeah.
Right.
Just right about
Pretty
2.5.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you.
No
Yeah,
problem.
thanks so
Thank
much
you
for-
guys so much.
Thanks for randomly stepping in.
Yeah, appreciate your flexibility.
Yeah, no worries.
You are assistant manager and you're drawing.
I'm
Yeah.
drawing the poster for the pop-up.
We do, like,
that.
everybody does everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no such thing as a small.
Hierarchy.
Exactly. So, yeah.
See, that helps. That's got to help your environment so much more, because then there's not that status that everyone's fighting for. It's literally just, no, you clean the toilet.
Right.
Like, it's your day.
Like, if you bartend,
Deal
you
with
clean the toilet. Like, it's like, you know, there's just certain things that you have to do, but that's
Right.
just how it goes. And with a small staff, that's kind of how it has to be.
Right.
So,
What it builds a better community and just trust. So, excellent.
I don't like the word being a boss. I like the word being a leader.
That's a better word.
So,
I'm into it. Cool.
thanks again, guys.
Thanks for letting us crash.
Can you
Yeah.
share the finished product with me?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I also have my own personal beer Instagram page called Caro's Brews.
Oh, really?
So
I'll follow you right
I'll have
now.
to follow you, yeah.
you'll have to follow me, and I'll follow you guys back. And
How do you spell it?
it's CAROS Brews, BREWS.
Cool. And is there, how can people follow Bitter Pops?
Yeah, what do you think? What do you
it's just Bitter Pops.
Yeah, search Bitter Pops on all the things.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Got it.
Cool.
Thank you.
I'm so excited.
Right.
Carol's Brews got featured.
Carol's Brews. All right. Okay.
We'll just wait. We can do a full episode too one day.
Oh, bring it on.
Now that we know.
Excellent.
You just opened up the Pandora's.
Right. Just, we're gonna have our regular guest, Caroline.
I know, regular guest and supplier of awesome, tasty things.
Okay, he's doing a thing.
I did a.
All right, so it's Caroline helping us understand a little bit more about Bitter Pops. Mike's checking a thing. I think we're good to wrap up, huh?
Yeah, our
let's do
2
it.
beers are almost done.
Yeah. I think
It's about to get busy. Oh,
some
shoot.
good information. So that was 2 Beers in a Podcast with Brad
Traveling.
and Mike on the road. Experimental equipment test.
Yeah. New mic test.
New mics and tiny tripods. So, all right, thanks for watching if you were there live. And okay. Yeah, definitely check us out on all the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, 2 Beers Pod, 2beersinapodcast.com, and
2beerspod@gmail.com.
2beerspod@gmail.com. All the things. It'll all be in the episode notes and wherever you find us online. So, here's it.
Keep drinking, keep tweeting.
All right.
This was fun.
Yeah.
I had a feeling like this, like I'm addicted now.
Right. If Caroline's willing. Is it really? Wait, how do you feel about pumpkin ales?
I like everything in moderation. I do like pumpkin ales. If nutmeg is overused. A lot of times they get too heavy on the raw nutmeg spice and it kind of takes away. This is incredibly balanced. It's almost like a brown ale with a little more sweetness to it. It's really good. It's like that more reserved pumpkin ale, but better.
Nutmeg, I think that sums it up.
What's that?
I think that nutmeg, I think you saying that's like what makes it aggressive.
Well, if you look at some of the recipes in the past that these pumpkin ales were, they weren't too heavy on the nutmeg. It's almost like the more jazz people got about pumpkin beers, the worse they became. The more nutmeggy they got.
Right.
And even if you've ever cooked with nutmeg or baked, if you don't cook it off and render it down, it tastes like a raw spice instead of more of like that roasted fall flavor. I think that's where they're going wrong.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and the recipe is always like just a pinch, like seriously,
Yeah,
put a lot
all
of
you really need.
Really?
And so you get beers that are just, it's a nutmeg beer, not even a pumpkin ale.
Sketchbook up in Evanston, they did a roasted pumpkin. So they started with roasted pumpkins. They put it right into the range. And that was actually like, it wasn't like, yeah, I want a howler of this, but it was like, I'll drink one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like moderation, you know, it's that time of year, it's warm, it's so, you know.
I'm interested.
It was a liqueur or a cocktail.
That's preconceived. I mean, you could be right, though. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, when you're getting into weird flavors, it's kind of just like...